Christmas to you. Syrup Dishes here, and coming at you, I'm going to replace my kitchen faucet. You can see it's dripping here. You turn this on and you go to turn it off, and you got to just get it in the right spot or it's not going to turn off on you. And so we're going to replace that faucet today with the Flow motion activated faucet from Home Depot. It's a cheap budget faucet, 150 bucks. Let's see how it does. Figure why not. So let's take a look at the parts. Step one, let's take a look at everything. Step two, let's get it cleaned out underneath so we can get under there, remove the old faucet, and then we'll start attaching the new one. I've done a lot of faucets, never a kitchen faucet. Should be pretty straightforward. Anymore, most of the connections are snap and fit. This one adds the motion activation pump, so you're gonna have a little extra feature there. So let's check this out. Given that there's not much room, we're going to turn that valve and turn the water off, and then we're going to take these hoses off so that we can start to disassemble the faucet, and then we'll come up here and get back underneath there, if we can find it, to take off the faucet from up here. So let's get to it. Alright, so difficult part here in removing this is that you got these hoses leaking water, obviously, coming through this nut that you got to loosen. And this hose you actually have to unhook from this spigot to be able to get it out. And personally, this is a poor design because you're trying to work this one tiny nut that holds this brass fitting, but the wires go between. Most of these, that pipe has all this pipe will have all these hoses going through it, so you're not having to work around it. All right, you can see it's loosened up. Let's see if it pulls out here. And then there you go. We'll get that cleaned out, get this cleaned up, put the new one in. Okay, so we've got to fit all of these hoses through the hole we've cleaned out. There's a small gasket that we're going to place in the bottom here because we have the single hole. So we're just going to start threading them through one at a time. You can see the difference in this model versus the one I took out. And this hose here is for your motion sensor pump. But you can see here, all of the hoses go through the same threaded pipe at the end. And that should create an easier use to be able to get in and out. And now you can see the problem I knew I would face, and that's how to get all of these hoses through in the end. There we go, got them all through. Make sure this gasket stays in there right. Darn thing doesn't want to. Ooh, she doesn't want to stay. Okay, so we're going to want it just about there. We'll make some final adjustments once we actually screw it down. We have some work underneath to do. Need to add the weight before we get too far into it. But what we're going to do first is on the underside, we're going to thread this through. And then you can see this is the threaded lock nut here. And what's great about this is it has Phillips head screws that you can actually make the last minute adjustments on. So that's the route we're going to go. We're going to climb under there and get that in. Okay, so you wall mount that control box. We'll need 4 batteries. We've got it hooked up in there, and we've got our weight mounted here And here's the problem. These will never reach our water. So we're gonna go look for a female to male extension for kitchen sinks and kitchen faucets. We really only need about 6 inches or less. If you look, that's roughly from there, 6 inches. It's an interesting note that they don't make those hoses longer. I would think it would be in their best interest to add 3 or 4 inches to hose, but who am I? All right, we found some connector hoses to stretch in where we needed to extend down. You can see that connection right there. And then we also have our control box mounted and ready to go. Let's take a look at functional operation. Okay, so it tells you to set to your desired temperature, and then your motion sensor is right there. So you're gonna wave in front of that and your water turns on, and you can wave in front and it turns off. It's working great. The other additional feature here is you can pull the head down, and when you replace it, it turns off. We do have a different spray feature for your sprayer. You can alter and toggle between those. And of course, if you turn this off and you want to adjust your sensor or your water temp, you can turn it there as well and just adjust by that. So it kind of eliminates the hands need, but just kind of set your temp where you want it in the first place and you're good to go. All right, in a little over an hour, not counting the trip to the hardware store for those male to female, actually those extender hoses, what that was 3/8 to 3/8. One had a compression fitting, so I could just remove the compression nut and it made it a 3/8 male side. And then the other side was the 3/8 female side, running about $5 a hose at local Home Depot. So that added $10 to the cheap cost of this awesome motion sensor faucet flow, inspired by BioBidet. Not a sponsor, just showing you that. So thanks for watching Syrup Dishes. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time.